Well, once again, as we close out the gardening season, it's time to clean up our tools and put them away for the winter. And a little bit of time right now will really help you get started a lot earlier in the spring with some tools that are in good working order. And we're just going to review that here really quick. And to start with, I've got one of our tools that's been just a bit abused. It's been put away dirty, and that does happen sometimes. And even if that happens and you've got a little bit of rust and the edges aren't quite as sharp as they should be, this is a good time to go ahead and get those tools back into shape. You don't have to run out and buy a new tool. You can do a little bit of repair work on your tools right now and get them ready for next spring. Now, one of the interesting things, and something I hadn't really thought about before, but something as simple as hanging your tools up on the wall as opposed to propping them up in the corner can really make a difference on keeping your tools in good shape. Because when you just lean them up in the corner, you can see what can happen here. Now, this has probably also happened from digging where there's some hard soil or maybe some rocks, big tree roots or something like that. But also, propping it up in the corner in the cement garage can really work havoc on the bevel. And you can see here, this one, we've got our tip on it, but you can see we still have just a little bit started there, and that's all from just putting it on the floor with the shovel down. So just making a rack to hang our tools on can get us off to a pretty good start on keeping them in shape. Now we need to go ahead and clean these up. Now you can use a spray of water and a stiff brush to do this. Now you'll want to be sure to clean that off after you do that. Now once we've got it cleaned off, you might have some rust still on there, because if we've left tools out in the rain or we've left them with a little bit of soil or mud on them, we might have some rust. And that can actually make the shovel, it'll catch the soil, so it won't slice through the soil quite as much. But if you just take some steel wool or again your brush and go over that, that will really help to get that rust off of there. And we can just clean our shovel up even better. And you can see it's taken a lot of the rust, and when you run your finger over that, it's smooth again. So it's a good idea to take your steel wool and just run over your shovel and get it extra clean. Now something else that we need to think about, both with our shovels and with our hoes, is we can put a good bevel on the edge. And now the bevel on these don't have to be really sharp. Really, from anywhere from 40 to 75 degrees is about as much bevel as you want. Because if it's too sharp, what's going to happen is that when it hits a rock or a tree root, it's going to bend because that metal will be too thin and it will break off or you'll get nicks in it. But if you still want to have a nice bevel on there so that it'll slice through the soil really well. Now, optimally, what you would want to do is check that when you get it new, and then just remember to resharpen it that way. And the way that you could check that is to take your file and place it flat on the bevel, and you can kind of tell there what the angle is. And you can see right there what our angle is, and it looks like we probably got about a 40-degree bevel on that. So that's what we can do. Now, if the bevel is completely gone, you can still just put, you know, it's anywhere from 40 to 75 degrees. Now what we want to do is we would place this on the surface, and right here is really pretty good because we can hang it off the edge and keep that stable. And then I'm going to want to take both hands and again line that up and just run my file along there until I've worked out a lot of those nicks. And depending on how bad the nicks are will depend on how much time this takes. And on this one it may take me a while. Now you only do this on one side. We'll have that nice bevel on there. Now after you've got that sharpened, what you want to do is you want to turn over your shovel, and you're going to need a whetstone and a little bit of honing oil, and this is just a very fine whetstone here, and we'll put a little bit of oil on it. And then what you want to do is take that, and with it flat, you're going to want to rub that burr off. And you can see right there how sharpening it and also probably just from using it, we've got a little bit of a burr there and that catches the soil. So we take that and just work on that until we get that burr off. And this may take a while, depending on how abused your shovel has been and also how much you had to sharpen it. So just work on that there. And then when you can feel that smooth, again, we're not sharpening this side, we're just getting that burr off. When you can feel that smooth on that side, then you're done sharpening your tool. Now, something else that you can do, of course I need to go ahead and finish cleaning this, but once I'm done cleaning it, it's a good idea to give it a coat of either WD-40 or you can just give it a coat of oil. And that will help protect that over the winter so it doesn't draw any moisture and start rusting, and it just helps keep that metal in good shape. Something else that you can do, if your tools have wooden handles and you may have been picking up some splinters from them, run just some fine sandpaper over that, and then after that, give them a coat with some boiled linseed oil. Just put some boiled linseed oil on a rag and just coat that wooden handle, and this really helps keep those handles in shape, keeps them from splintering so that you don't get splinters on your own hands, and it helps to kind of weatherize them. And this really only needs to be done about once a year. So if you do this in the fall when you're putting your tools up, you'll be ready to go in the spring.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.